So if you're building a career in India, you've probably felt it, right? The job market, it just feels different. Today, we're cracking open the 2026 India Salary Guide to figure out why. We're going to show you where the real money is, and more importantly, what specific skills can seriously fast track you to the top. All right, so the big headline, the days of those crazy, explosive salary hikes for pretty much everyone, well, they're starting to cool off. After a few wild years, the market is finding its footing, a more balanced pace. But hold on, don't mistake stable for stagnant. Far from it. Because what's really happening under the surface is the market is splitting into two totally different worlds. Your typical annual raise, that's hovering around a solid 8 to 12%. But for folks with those really specific in-demand skills, when they make a move, something wild is happening. They're seeing jumps of up to 30%. We're not just talking about a small gap here. This is a massive shift in how the market decides who gets paid and who gets paid a lot. Okay, to really get a handle on this, let's dive deep into one of the hottest sectors in India, banking and financial services. I mean, this is ground zero for seeing that two-tier market play out in real time. So what's all the fuss about these roles? Well, it pretty much boils down to two things: growth and, making sure that growth doesn't go off the rails. Companies are desperate for FP&A pros to plan their next move and investor relations experts to get the funding for it. And at the same exact time, you need the guardrails, the risk, audit, and compliance experts to make sure the whole thing stays on track in a super complex world. It's the strategic core of finance today. And no surprise here, this crazy demand creates a super clear path right to the top jobs. Every one of those skills we just talked about, strategy, risk, compliance, is a foundational piece of being a CFO or a chief risk officer. So if you get really good at this stuff, you're not just looking at a promotion. You're basically on the fast track to the C-suite. But wait, it gets even more interesting. It's not just about what you do, but where you do it. Get this. A managing director at a big global fund can pull in 3 times what their counterpart at a domestic firm makes. That's not a small difference. That's a whole different league. It really shows you the premium that comes with playing on a global scale. Yeah, to put a number on that, we're talking about a potential annual salary of up to 6 crore rupees. That is, without a doubt, the absolute top of the mountain in India's financial world right now. Okay, let's switch gears. Let's look at another absolute powerhouse, engineering and manufacturing. I mean, this is the sector that's literally building the future of India. Let's see how that same trend of rewarding specialized skills is playing out here. So over here, the game is all about finding people who can connect the dots. People who can take a brilliant idea and actually make it happen, flawlessly. Companies need experts who can own that whole journey, from a sketch on a napkin in R&D, through the maze of project management, all the way to a product rolling off an efficient assembly line. And you see the same pattern here as in finance, right? These core operational skills, they're your ticket to the best paying jobs. The most valuable people are the ones who can zoom out and see the whole system, from supply chain to R&D. These are the people conducting the entire orchestra, not just playing one instrument. And of course, they get paid like it. Now, this chart right here really spells it out. You've got the head of manufacturing, which is a huge, well-paid role. But then you look at the chief operating officer, and it's on another level. So why that huge pay jump? It's the difference between managing one part of the machine and being the one who designed the entire factory. Strategy, innovation, the whole shebang. So, the bottom line is pretty straightforward. A top COO in this space with over 15 years under their belt can be looking at a salary of 3 crore rupees, maybe even more. And that's not just a salary, right? It's a statement. It shows just how much companies value leaders who can both build and innovate at scale. Okay, so we've looked at finance, we've looked at manufacturing, 2 totally different worlds. But what's the common thread here? What are the skills that pop up again and again, no matter the industry? And here you have it. This is basically the hot list for 2026. And you can see a clear pattern, can't you? It's this really cool mix of, on one hand, super deep tech skills, we're talking AI, data, all that good stuff, and on the other, this big picture strategic thinking. But the key, the real secret sauce, is being able to actually do it, to lead those massive, real-world projects in hot areas like renewables. This is the toolkit for the future. All right, we've crunched the numbers, we've looked at the trends, but let's bring it all home. What does this actually mean for your career? Look, the message from this report couldn't be any clearer. In this new job market, sitting still is not an option. Upskilling, learning, adapting, these aren't just nice-to-haves anymore. They are the absolute price of entry if you want to be a leader in your field. So really, this whole thing boils down to one simple question you have to ask yourself. The market is moving fast. We know where the big rewards are. It's in those specific high-impact skills. So in a world that's changing this quickly, the only question that matters is, how are you going to stay ahead?